It is Saturday, June 21st. And y'all, Central Mississippi, we do not experience nice weather. We go from cold to rains, and it doesn't rain, it just floods, to hot. It's just hot. There's never any, oh, it's such a nice, pleasant day out. And I know, I can gripe about something every day, honestly, and I shouldn't. Count your blessings, be thankful. So Greg got in here and cleaned up the garden. This is where we had carrots, spinach, lettuce, broccoli, radishes, and my peppers were late, and my tomatoes are still here. So I let him clean up the weeds, the pigweed. The pigweed is, y'all, it's just ridiculous. It's just ridiculous. And I think I've said it before, the root system goes up to the gates of hell, I'm convinced. There are thorns. I have put on every pair of gloves I have, from, garden gloves that are coated to gloves you would use doing barbed wire, and those thorns will stick right through. So I spent most of the day yesterday finding my peppers and cleaning between them. So I have one here. This first row is going to be my jalapenos, and I think out of all the seeds I planted, I think I have 5 jalapeno plants. The second row, out of all the seeds I planted, I have 6, 7, 8, maybe 8 cayennes, and honestly, these 3 right here are definitely riding the struggle bus, but they've been hidden. Y'all, the amount of pigweed and grass that had taken over was just unbelievable. And I uprooted one accidentally. I don't remember if it was a cayenne or a jalapeno. So I did take it up to the house and stick it in a pot. So my tomato cages, I have 2 decent tomato cages, and the rest are the saddest cages I've ever seen. The wind has knocked them over. They're wimpy. My plant's too heavy, so I did pick up some wood stakes yesterday, so I'm going to stake those. But you see how much I've still got to clean up. This is really my last good patch of grass in this row. Greg can't come through here with the disc because he'll damage all my other stuff. This is too tall to use with my tiller because it chokes the tiller down. It wouldn't have mattered if I could anyway, because I broke my tiller yesterday. When I had gotten some of this down to a manageable, to where I could run the tiller through it, I still managed to find a big, nice grass pod. It grabbed up in my tiller. It yanked the tiller. I yanked the tiller and cracked the plastic. So yeah, great. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I'm wrong. I have 11 cayenne plants. And I have one, out of all the seed I set out, one very sad Mad Hatter pepper. I don't know what it is. It's a couple that I watch on YouTube, and their plants were gorgeous last year, and they produced just the most beautiful pepper. And I said, I want to try those, and I planted a whole row, and I think I have one. I don't think it had anything to do with the seed. I think it had everything to do with the fact that the weeds just took over, y'all. And it's just, it's work to keep up all this, and to cut grass, and to do your job in the house, and to tend to the garden. And you're gonna get behind. It's just impossible, I'm convinced, unless you're laying plastic, unless you're laying, landscape fabric or something, you're gonna get behind. I cannot explain it, and I wish somebody would explain it to me. So this is pigweed. It actually, the tops of it, and they may be in the same family, resemble my amaranth plant, and so do the leaves. I haven't even Googled it to see. This is what I would consider a small one. I had some stalks that were as thick as a small tree. They have thorns all over them, so you don't just grab them. You can't just grab them. And they literally just, these last 3 rows, they just demolished everything. Everything. I mean, you can see some that the disc didn't, and see, like, here's some roots or some stobs, but you can see like how big that one is. Here's some. We don't have this in our pasture. So we don't have the pigweed in our pasture. I don't have the pigweed in my flower beds at the house. If I have any in the beds out here on the U-pick, they're minimal, you know, they're manageable. So I cannot explain why they took over my garden, because this is not something that when you walk out into our pasture that you see growing. So somebody in the farming industry needs to tell me why this pigweed only came up in my garden, in my vegetable garden. Everything I planted was seed, with the exception of my tomatoes that I got from Walmart, and I already had pigweed before I planted them. So everything else I set out was seed from reputable businesses. Not just something I picked up at Walmart or at Lowe's or something like that. These were seeds that I ordered that people, you know, specialize in. So I don't know. I'd love an answer. Here's another answer I need. Had a volunteer pumpkin come up. It produced about 4 pumpkins before the squash bugs got to it and destroyed the vine. And of course, it's entirely too early for pumpkins. But what I did is I took those pumpkins, gave them to my brother-in-law so he could bust them and feed them to the chickens. But I need to know, can I treat my soil, can I treat my dirt, can I treat my garden for these squash bugs before I put my pumpkin seed in the ground? Pumpkin seed in the ground needs to go in the ground. We've got something going on next Saturday, so I'm probably going to say probably next Sunday or sometime early the next week. So are the squash bugs living in my ground right now, even though there's nothing there? They immediately flocked to that pumpkin vine and destroyed it very quickly. I plant entirely too many pumpkins and spend a lot of money on the seed for these squash beetles just to come in on the... we had squash beetles last year, but we didn't have them until very late in the season. The pumpkins were flourishing, and so they came in and took out some of my vines. But they jumped on this one very early. So if anybody out there is knowledgeable, I need to know why I had all this pigweed and how to treat, amend, whatever, my soil to handle these squash bugs before I plant my pumpkins. So come on, help me out. Hello, hello. This is me in all my natural state. Gray hair and no ball cap and no makeup. It is Tuesday, June, I don't know, 23rd maybe. I took off the rest of the week, and we're closed all next week. We're closed for the entire week of the 4th. So I decided to take some days this week. Greg's going to take off next week, and we're going to get some projects done that we just don't have time to do after work or on the weekends. So I decided to take off this week to work on things that he's not going to want to work on while he's off. Things that I can do by myself. So I haven't been outside at all today, which makes me feel guilty. Because I know there's so many things out there that need to be done, but I also know there are so many things in here that need to be done also. So that's what I'm trying to focus on, is the inside of the house where we actually live. I have cleaned out I've cleaned out 4 drawers. I have a drawer just for shorts. I have a drawer just for jeans and joggers. And then I have a drawer just for leggings. I know, that's kind of sad, isn't it? And then my unmentionables drawer. I cleaned all those out. Yeah, I got rid of probably 18 or 19 pair of leggings. Yeah. I don't really wear capris anymore. I don't really wear printed leggings anymore. I don't really wear white leggings anymore, or really even white skinny jeans, because let's be honest, you can just see your lumps in those white pants. So, and my thighs have some lumps. Got rid of a couple of pair of pants that I personally love. They're like a jogger. I have a habit of, when I find something that I like, I buy the same pair of pants or shorts or whatever, shirt, whatever, in several different colors. So I had some Old Navy joggers that could be casual, but could very well be dressy too. They were not an athletic jogger. They were a nicer jogger pant. I had them in olive green, I had them in black, and I had them in like a dusty rose. There's a fly in here. I hate a fly. But my family has been telling me that they're too big in the rear end and that they look like clown pants. So I'm parting with them. Got rid of a couple of pair of shorts. Got rid of a lot of unmentionables. You know, when you find your favorites, it's kind of what you stick with. So I feel really accomplished there. I cleaned off my desk area mainly because I'm still looking for a receipt to my tiller. Find every receipt imaginable. I can find a receipt where I just bought Energizer batteries. Can't find my tiller receipt. So I'm going to go and work in our bathroom. I say our bathroom. It's our closet's on the other side of our bathroom, and that's where we store, you know, extra shampoos and cough syrups and all those kind of things that you would have in like a bathroom or a medicine cabinet or something like that. It's kind of gotten disorderly, so I'm going to go in there and work on that. I've got a load of clothes going, fixing to put another load in, and I've got some dishes to do. And then I feel like it won't be long before some of my crew will be rolling in, and, you know, maybe I will go out and do some things. I know I need to check the tomatoes. I've got some stuff to spray for grass over in the dove field and in my flower garden. So that needs to be done. We had a really, really heavy rain yesterday afternoon, and it rained probably an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours, and it was probably an inch of rain. So I didn't rush out this morning because I knew things were going to be muddy, I knew things were going to be wet, stuff like that. Just cut the grass on Saturday. It's Tuesday. It needs it again. In fact, didn't even finish cutting the grass, to be honest. And the garden had already been cut like on Thursday, so it's definitely time to cut the garden again. But with the amount of rain we've had lately, it's just can't keep up. It's difficult. So anyway, I don't know. We'll see. Hey, in cleaning off my desk, Greg used to bring these home to me occasionally just for the fun. And I knew I had some that I hadn't done anything with, but I've got $37 here. Pretty good, huh? That I hadn't done anything with. So I found those when I cleaned off my desk. No receipt, but lottery tickets. Whatever, scratch off tickets. So I don't know. We'll just kind of see where the week goes. I know before Greg gets off, I want to tackle a stall in the barn and the shed. There's stuff from storage units that we still have. There's stuff from my vendor booth, and it's just kind of all gotten shoved in, and there's no rhyme or reason or order or whatsoever, and there's probably stuff that could be thrown away. So that's just kind of what I'm doing. I just decided to take some days before we're closed and knock out some of the things that I can do around the house that he's going to have zero interest in. And then when he gets off, we can do the things that require both of us or require a little more manpower. So anyway, it feels good to get your drawers cleaned out. You know, it's almost like people do it seasonally, you know, and even though we still have a lot of summer left, I feel like I'm ready for like school to start back and for a fall season to roll around. I've cleaned out things that I just absolutely was not wearing. I need to do the same with my closet, but that's going to be a much bigger project. So maybe I get it done this week, maybe I don't. I don't know. Just letting you in on what's going on around here. Good morning from the garden. It is Thursday. It's so crazy how quickly the days go by when you're at the house with big plans. So I think I last left you off on Tuesday. I worked in the house all day on Tuesday up until, you know, probably late evening, and we came out and did a few things. But I got a lot accomplished in my bedroom, cleaned out drawers, threw away stuff, got some work done in my bathroom, got some work done in my closet, you know, just things that needed to be done. And Greg and I sat down, we watched a movie, which I think I've said it before, we're not series watchers or things like that. We'll sit down and watch a movie or watch YouTube or something. Yesterday, I swear to you, I worked all day on just cleaning my patio and planted some monkey grass out on the front sidewalk. I think I've said this before. We've lived in this house 16 years, and for 15 years, the only landscape I had out front were 2 crepe myrtles. I finally decided to do some landscaping last year, and this year, just about a month ago, we poured a sidewalk between those 2 beds and out the front door. It goes nowhere. It just goes to the front yard, a sidewalk to nowhere, because we don't use our front door. We don't have a front drive, things like that. But I planted some monkey grass beside those yesterday. And I promise those 2 things took all day. We are so habitual about working on something on the patio or taking a drink out on the patio. Tools never get put up. The cups never get put up. Morgan had built this little cat area when those kittens were left by the mama last year. It hasn't been quite a year, but I think it's coming up on it. That area it had become nasty. It needed to go. The cats weren't using it anymore. I'm not gonna say I pressure washed the patio, but I did wash it off. It took all day. I don't know how it took all day, but it took all day. And then I cleaned up around that front sidewalk, cleaned up the concrete, you know, the scraps of concrete, and planted the monkey grass. So here it is already Thursday, and there are so many things on my list that I wanted to do that I have not yet accomplished. Now, I am off all next week. We're closed next week. But Greg will be here, and we'll be knocking out things that require, you know, both of us. So I haven't cleaned out the second bay of the barn. I have not cleaned out the shed. So my big debate today is stay home and do these things, or, and it would take me all day. Well, it would take me all day to do that, but it would also take me all day. I'm out here to pick, I hope, some white zinnias. I've got a vase of reds and pinks and some greenery in the house for a little girl's birthday party. I'm delivering that today. Need to go to the grocery store. Need to go by the bank. My big debate is, am I gonna go do a farmer's market this afternoon? If so, working on the vases will take all day, because I'll need to leave by about 3:45. So I've got to go make this delivery this morning, and if I'm going to do the farmer's market, I'm not going to do the grocery store. Or do I stay at home and do the things that need to be done? I got the garden area cut yesterday. The grass needs to be cut. The yard. I don't know. I'm just, Saturday morning I have a family reunion to go to. So really I've got today and Friday to get done what I want to get done. Because Sunday afternoon, I feel like, don't look at my tomatoes. I feel like we're going to be rolling up and planting pumpkins. There and there. I probably do not need to go to a farmer's market. That needs to be handled. Ugh. Decisions. All right, I'll let y'all know. Okay, it is Friday. I did not go to the farmer's market yesterday. I decided to stay home, get all the grass cut. I got everything cut. Without being here, you just really can't realize how much we cut. So we have a little bit of a backyard, a big side yard, a huge front yard, grass on the other side of the driveway that we use, grass on the other side of the driveway that we don't use, a whole little lot down there that we cut, and then cut inside the garden also. I got a ton of weed eating done, not finished. Just did more weed eating here around the tomatoes. And I need to go to Walmart. And I hate that because, so I had a phone call. I think I was on Walmart. I don't like Walmart. I'd much rather go to Sam's and then not have to go for a while. And it feels like it just takes all day. It's a 30-minute drive to Walmart, 35 minutes, something like that. So an hour there and back, and you're gonna burn an hour probably in Walmart. So you say, oh, it's just 2 hours, but I promise you it will turn into 4 somehow. So I'm fixing to spray some soapy water on my tomatoes. I've been doing a lot of research on these long-legged, long-leaf, whatever bugs that are on my tomatoes. And outside of using something that would also be damaging to my pollinators, this is either stand here and hand pick them off and squish them, or spray some soapy water on them, because my understanding is they have like a wax coating on their wings, and using something like a Dawn or something that's a degreaser will kind of get that wax coating off and then penetrate. From what I understand, bugs breathe differently than we do. They breathe kind of through their skin. So that wax coating, I don't know if that's even true. I don't know. Anyway, It sounds horrible, but essentially we're going to attempt to suffocate these bugs. So I'm going to go spray that and burn the day up going to Walmart, and then see what the rest of the afternoon brings. I'm still trying to decide what to do with the strawberries. I don't want to give up on them, but honestly it looks like I've given up on them based on the weeds and the grass. But I need it for pumpkins too. So I think I'm going to weed eat in it and see what the plants look like, and if I want to dig them up and move them somewhere else and save them for next year. I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't have put them there. I mean, your idea is to save your strawberry plants from year to year. You can probably get about 3 years out of a plant. I don't know. I'm just rambling. I don't know what I'm doing. But I'm going to spray my tomatoes and go to Walmart. Alright, I pulled out of the driveway to go to Walmart at 11:35. It is 2:33, pulling back in. So you can take an hour of that for travel. I told you, it just turns into all day. And I mean, I looked around the garden center for a minute, but I didn't waste a lot of time. I don't know. And then you still got to go home and unload all this stuff, when lots of other things could have been done. That's okay. So the rest of the afternoon I did get a couple of bags of mulch to put out where I was short. I'm actually short a lot of mulch, but this is just for right now.